head is in there. Because I'm shorter than you.
Okay.
I might need a booster. Let me get a pillow.
Bring in the telephone books.
All right. I can even do this. No one will ever know.
No one will ever know. I'll know.
Am I up enough? Do I need another pillow?
No, you're good.
Today's episode is a special one because I'm sitting down with somebody who taught me a lot about scuba diving, and that is my scuba diving instructor, Tim Goulah. But he's not just any scuba diving instructor, he's a PADI Course Director, which means that he has the highest rating within the PADI system. He's trained countless divers and dive professionals. So I thought it would be fun to ask him some questions about his journey, his underwater experiences, and maybe even some advice for those of you who are thinking about diving. So let's get started. Here's Tim Goulah.
Huge applause.
What's going on, Tim?
Not much. I'm actually getting ready to go down to Virginia and take a public safety diving course this weekend.
Are you excited about it?
Excited and nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me it was tricky.
It is, and it's been quite a while since I've been in a class where I'm not the instructor, so
You're not used
or
to
I
it
don't
anymore?
I don't have the skills, so I'm there.
You'll do it.
But I'm looking forward to it.
You'll do it. So let's get started. I guess you can start with telling us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what got you into diving originally.
So my name's Tim Goulah. I'm a PADI Course Director. I am a former Marine. Lived over in Okinawa, Japan for 16 years. That's where I learned to dive. Fell in love with it, loved the ocean, would spend every waking hour underwater if I could. If I could only do one type of diving again for the rest of my life, it would be night diving. And was over there. Okinawa has fantastic diving, hidden gem of the world for diving.
Yeah.
It sits in the second ring for biodiversity.
That's awesome.
Just outside of Indonesia and Philippines and that. So a lot of the stuff people travel to go see was just in my back.
Didn't you say there was,
patio.
not like a cave, but there was something where there was one species
Yeah,
that you dive under, and it's like a...
So there's the Hado Dome is the name of
That's
the
what it
dive
is.
site, and it's an opening to a cavern that's inside of a rock with no openings into it. And from what I've been told and what I understand, there's a cricket that has evolved as a separate species now because it's been separated so long.
That's
So
really cool.
The opening's pretty cool. You go in, it's about 30 feet down. You go in and it's a little dog leg that comes up. And when you get inside, it's pitch black, so you got to take your flashlight, but you can still see the exit when
Yeah.
you're in there. So you
Yeah.
can just look down in the water and see
And
where
you
the
dove
exit
this
is.
before,
I've
or
dove it several times. And then
That's-
if
that just to
you get
go
up
and see
there, you
that.
can take your mask and your reg off, and you can breathe the air inside the chamber. It's kind of stale, but you can breathe it. And then if you're quiet and you keep your lights out, you can hear those crickets go.
That's
So
really
it's
cool.
pretty.
Does
pretty
it sound
cool.
like a normal cricket around here, or is
Yeah,
it...
you don't know
is
any
it-
different. But
Yeah.
that's the kind of the cool thing about it is that they're only in that spot. So even though they sound like
cool.
the others.
That's
So.
pretty cool. Yeah, he's done a lot of diving. So first actual official question, I
Okay.
guess. Do you remember what was your very first dive like, and what was the experience like for
So
you?
the first thing I remember for diving was my open water, confined water dive, which was at Camp Foster in Okinawa.
Okay.
And it was the first time where you just put your reg in and you breathe and you go underwater, and they just want you to breathe.
Get used to it.
Get used to that. You can actually breathe off the reg and you're not gonna suffocate. And I just remember sitting in the shallow end, looking at the deep end, and thinking, this is the coolest effing thing I've ever seen or done. It was just,
Yeah.
and that was just the pool. I don't really remember the first few dives there, but all the dives in Okinawa were amazing, so they just kind of blend together into one crystal clear water, tons of fish
Remember
to
you
see.
telling me about the visibility with it being really clear all the time.
Like 40 feet was a bad viz day for us, and people would complain. And after traveling, I'm like, you don't know how good you have it at 40 feet.
And then we
you come here and
a
you
river
get,
is 10 feet viz.
How was it? It was great today. We had 6 feet. I could see my buddy next to me. It was great.
Oh yeah, it's the viz is not great here. Colder the water though, it gets better. For the lakes.
For here, yeah.
For here, yeah.
For there, it was, I think the coldest we had in our winter was 64, I dove, which was
still cold
quite
for me.
a eye-opener, literally and figuratively.
That's what it was in Alex Bay when we went.
Yeah, I
this
came
past
back
week.
here, and shout out to Matt Loveland, who took me for my first freshwater dive when I got back. And we went up to Cuba Lake, and I had a little warm water bonnet on. And he's like, "You're gonna need a hood." I was like, "No, I'll be
I
okay."
can picture you.
It was-
I literally picture like
it
a
was
baby
like-
bonnet. I cannot.
It's like one of those neoprene things that's got
Yeah.
the chin strap. It's not a full hood. But I went down, and there was a thermocline at about 25 feet, and it felt like ice picks going
Yeah.
into my temples, and I was
That's what
right
they
up.
said. That's what they said about the Maggie L this past weekend.
Yeah.
There was a thermocline and it dropped like 53 degrees.
That's what the dry suit's for.
Nope. Well, yeah, dry
Yeah.
suit, but not in a wetsuit. Not for me. Okay, so kind of more about your experience with diving. What was your most challenging part of your dive training journey, like so far?
Favorite course, and I think the one I learned most from is rescue. That's kind of where you shift into a whole different mindset of, I'm not just going to go out and do stuff for fun. You kind of
Right. Like take it more
reflect on
seriously
yourself and look at everybody else like, who's going to cause me problems
Yeah,
on this
yeah.
dive. And then the instructor course is quite a bit of stress. I did a dive master internship with a great group over at Kadena Marina in Okinawa, so
That's
that
fun to
wasn't
say.
as stressful because it was stretched out over quite a time, about eight months or so, I think it took. And then the instructor course, going over to Thailand and trying to tackle the physics and the equipment questions, and just having to know the stuff rote, and then learning how to sell
Yeah.
and learning how to teach the courses, and all that stuff was quite a heavy lift. And then the course director level would have been the next one.
I feel like that would be, I mean, from what I hear, just getting instructor in PADI is very intense.
It can be if it's done right.
Yeah.
In my opinion, your course director, your staff instructors for your IDC course should put you through the ringer, and you should stress the whole time. Only
can
for the
imagine with
fact
course director.
that when you get to the instructor exam, you're like, that was it at the end of it, because you're so well prepared.
Yeah.
And you're like, we teach you to look for everything, the smallest problem. And it's not just for the exam, it's because when you get to the real world in your teaching, you literally have people's lives in your hand.
Right.
And so you have to make that adjustment to be able to find those little things that could go wrong in an instant for someone.
Yeah, because it can be something very small that can happen
Yeah.
where someone panics or something happens
Yep.
underwater.
And how to react to it. So
Yeah.
there's still things, like I remember the first time I saw somebody with passive panic, and that freaked me out. I've seen people.
heard that would be scary.
Yeah, I've seen people panic, and they're like, and you can tell they're nervous and they're
Yeah.
hyperventilating, and calm down. And the first time I had somebody with passive panic, there was nothing. They did not
They were just
respond at all.
frozen?
They were frozen. Eyes
That's
wide open
scary.
like saucers. We're down to 40 feet, 50 feet for an open water class, doing the open water dive. So, no deeper than 60, but I think it was about 40 feet and just no response. And you're trying to signal to them, and
Yeah.
you're like right in front of them.
And he just
and nothing.
doesn't even register.
And so, you got to signal. Thank God I always use dive masters, but you signal the dive masters to start getting the rest of the group up. you take that student, I brought him up to the surface, removed the mask, removed the reg, and it was like a switch flipped. And he's like,
And then he was like,
how'd we
with
get
it again?
here? Yeah.
So he had no memory.
No memory at all.
Ooh.
No memory of us signaling, no memory of them bringing him up.
Did he remember like how he got?
Nope. He just,
Did he remember
just
descending?
checked out.
He just
Got to the
all of a
bottom
sudden he
and
just-
something tripped and freaked him out, and it was just no response. That was the scariest I've ever had.
yeah, that can be. I mean, that can be scary for him too because your mind just blocks it out
Yeah.
completely.
And then there's other weird things, like it wasn't a safety issue per se, but had a student, the first time I ever saw somebody sneeze underwater. I've only seen that once. And
How does that happen?
she just,
That
she,
would be me,
she
I feel
held her
like.
reg. Thank God she knew enough. We had taught her right. She held her reg. It was like, and you see all the bubbles, and it was like 3 or 4 in a row. And
What
I was
is
like,
she allergic to?
I was like,
underwater?
"Are you okay? Like, what's going on?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine." We got done at the end of the dive. I was
I'm
like,
just
"What was
allergic to
going
the
on?" She's like,
regulator.
"I just was sneezing." I said, "I've never seen that before," and that was probably after about 6 years of teaching
my
that I
gosh.
saw that. So they're always throwing you curveballs.
I've seen. I mean, I don't watch them because I just don't want to. But videos of like, just in case you throw up underwater.
Yeah,
Like
hold the reg in.
how? That's disgusting.
Hold the reg in. It'll come shooting out the jets, and then all the fish come around.
Yeah.
Great selfie moment if you got your GoPro with it.
Blech. Next question. Have you had any mentors or people who really shaped you as a diver?
Darlene Fong. She was the one that did, after the divorce, all my dive buddies had left the island for the group I dove with, and so to get back in and meet people, I started doing a course a month while I was over there, a specialty course,
Yeah.
did my advanced and rescue, and I ended up liking the way Darlene taught, and so she was my dive master instructor and brought me all the way up through. And then Bent Prostpajol, who is a course director at Sea
Remember the
Fun
shirts.
Divers in Thailand.
He told me about the shirts.
Yeah, his shirts say "I got bent" at the IDC, so nice play on words. But he's one of my mentors I look up to for diving, just because whenever I have a question, even now, and when we went back in October, he and I got together, we dove together on the boat, and then we had a couple of beers afterwards, and just kind of catching up on old times. But he's one that I can shoot a text or an email to, "Hey Ben, what's going on? Got this, what do you think?" And he's always there to give his advice in that, and so that's something I hope I can be for other divers and other instructors that come up under me.
Well, he's great. He's great. So I trust him
You
underwater.
heard it here first.
Just don't get him quoting Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, that's don't
We're
start on that.
notorious for
Don't
that.
start on that.
Okay, so teaching and inspiring other divers. What do you enjoy most about teaching?
The thing I enjoy most about teaching, and this is part of why, still as a course director, you don't see a lot of them doing open water courses anymore. I don't like to do a ton of them because they are a lot of work, and I've been through
I
that.
can imagine.
And I like to have the instructors that I bring up and get on board, I'll help teach them. Like we're working with CJ now. I'm going to be working with Ashley to get their skills built as an instructor, but I still love to see the change in people and how much they enjoy. Like in Okinawa, you'd see blue starfish everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like you walking off the beach and there's a blue starfish. Woo!
Like so cool.
And then you take somebody scuba diving, and that was the thing that thrilled them the most. It was like just seeing how much joy people get out of it.
Yeah.
Seeing the way, and it sounds corny, but you change people's lives. I've had people that have been afraid of fish that took the dive course so they could go against that fear, and
I mean,
they beat it.
I can see sharks.
Yeah, just
even
fish.
just fish in
just
general.
fish in general.
Okay.
I
Now,
had,
did those did they want to take the course because of that?
Yeah, they
To get
wanted
over
to
their
conquer
fear? Yeah.
their fear.
Okay.
And so one of the girls I remember, she wanted to just take the course, get through the course, do her 4 dives. She said, I'm good. I never want to dive again, but I beat my fear. So
Yeah.
that was cool. I had another guy who, he and his wife was one of my, I worked with her over in Okinawa, and they took the course, went all the way through. He became a dive master with me. He became an instructor. I wasn't a course director at the time, so he went over to Thailand to go through
Okay.
Bent, and I went over and I staffed it. And while I was there staffing his IDC, I found out he was afraid of water when he took the course. He did it because his wife wanted him to take
Well,
the
that's
course.
wild.
And after he learned to dive, you couldn't keep him out of the water, and never knew.
I feel like that's just what it is. Like if you get over your fear on the other side of it, then it's just
Awesome.
awesome. Yeah. All bets are off at that point. Like, let's go.
So, but just seeing those changes in people, conquering things, taking fear, just becoming better at it, even if they're not afraid, just showing them what to do, how to do different skills in that, and then seeing them improve over time
Yeah.
is awesome.
That's gotta be
and knowing you had a part to play in that is
Yeah. That's got to be really cool. So what's the most rewarding moment you've had as an instructor? There's probably so many
there's
going through your head.
Yeah. I had one lady who got passed off to me because the instructor she was working with, she was too timid to get through any of the dives. I took her back into the pool several times, so she had 9 sessions in the pool.
Wow.
She had, I think, 7 dive attempts with me before she could do everything to get certified. And her daughter was complaining, like, my mother's done this and that. And I said, your mother is not
She has to go at her
prepared
own
to do
pace.
if I go diving with her and I have a heart attack or I go down, she's
Was the
got to
daughter
be able
getting
to get.
like mad at you?
She was mad because her mother wasn't passing.
Oh.
And
okay.
as you know, it's not time-based.
Right.
It's
When you're
performance-based.
ready
It's
and
when
you
you
can
can
do
do
the
the
skills,
skills and
yeah.
when you can do the stuff. And for me, you know, they got to be able to do everything on their
Yeah.
own. So
He won't let anyone slide.
No,
He
I
doesn't
don't.
let anyone slide. We all know this.
Crotchety old man.
But-
And in this case, it serves me well.
But I'd rather have that than somebody who lets people slide and then you get down 100 feet
But
and it's, you know.
yeah, so when she finally got through, and she gave me a hug, and she was crying when she got her final dive, and we certified her in that. But just knowing she would be able to go out and do those dives, and if something happened, she could get in safely, as opposed to just putting a check in the box and letting her go. So that's a standout moment. Seeing my classes get through, take the exam and pass, and become instructors, and knowing, and then seeing them go on and becoming instructors and having a bunch of people come up under them that, you know,
Like, well, you instructed CJ
Yeah.
with that. So, yeah, he's doing good too with that.
yeah,
Maybe he'll
So-
be on the show one day.
maybe.
Okay, let me see. What advice would you give to someone who's nervous about scuba diving or trying it out?
Being nervous is wise and healthy, but don't let it conquer you. Use that nervousness or that anxiety you have to make sure that you are doing things smartly and cautiously and correctly, and then you can still learn to dive. Don't let it beat you. And I firmly believe I'll work with anybody as long as they need to, as long as they're trying.
As long as they're trying. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
don't give up, and I won't give up on you.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
That's good advice. I told you he was good. He was good.
What else? Scuba diving is fun. It's relaxing. It is my happy place, so I can go in the worst mood ever, and I can come out totally zen at the end of it.
Yeah.
Because it washes everything away.
I've
It's
never
just
seen
nice.
anyone who came up and was unhappy
No.
with a dive.
Even on a
Even if something like happened and they overcame it, like
yeah.
then they overcame it and they were happy.
And you use those experiences to build on for next time. So
Yeah.
if you had a rough exit getting out and you fell and the waves were crashing on you and that, then you realize, I need to pay better attention to tide tables and I need
Yeah.
to make sure I have an alternate exit point.
Did that happen in Thailand when you guys went?
For
The
which?
boat, like just in general, like getting onto the boat again.
On and off the boat, there's different ways they'll do it depending. So if they have a live boat where the engine's running, you stay kind of in a cluster
Okay.
and they'll call you over one at
Okay.
a time. Or sometimes everybody will just be drifting and they'll throw a tagline out and
That makes
kind of
sense.
hang on it till you go.
Yeah.
But I mean an alternate from like shore dives. So, excuse me, there was one place over there which was a great dive site called Toilet Bowl. Bad name, great dive
That's
site.
hilarious.
But the water washed around and then got sucked out when the waves would come in,
Yeah.
so it looked like a toilet
That's
flushing.
crazy,
Yeah.
though.
But it was awesome. You could go in, you drop, it went right down to 130 feet. There were sharks off of there, gray reef sharks, eels, octopus, frogfish, Gregorian sea fans with pygmy seahorses, all at this one site walking
my
offshore.
gosh.
So it was an amazing sight. But you could go in and it could be flat calm, and you come up and it could be raging waves. So there was 2 alternate exits for that. And it's
Okay.
always good to have an alternate exit strategy, at least one. If you come up and, what do you do if the boat's not there? What do you do if the boat is there, but it's wavy now?
Yeah.
And that. So always have that in mind.
Okay. Cool. What's the most unforgettable dive you've ever done?
There's been
It's probably a
few.
lot.
The manta rays in
Manta rays. I want to do that one.
manta rays in Ishigaki. There were 3 of them, and the waves, you're only in about 30 feet, so you can still kind of feel the swell, but these 3 were stacked up like that, and they were just
Going with
gliding and riding
Oh,
like they
that's-
were a precision flight
And they're
team.
big, right?
Oh, they're big. They're like
The giant.
15,
like
20 foot tip to tip.
that's amazing.
Schooling hammerheads in Yonaguni, Japan. Mandarin fish in Kabira Bay in Okinawa. All the Thailand diving I love. That
Yeah.
was great, site after site. Tobermory, cold but phenomenal wrecks.
Amazing wrecks.
Dominican Republic, where we're diving on an old sunken pirate Spanish galleon kind of thing.
that
they
must
were
have been really
it
old,
was-
though, too.
Yeah, they were pulling the old stuff out for restoration, and they were putting in exact replicas on the dive sites so they could preserve the real wreck, but they didn't want to take the wreck away from people.
Okay.
So that was kind of cool. And then Roatan was
Yeah,
awesome this
Roatan was
past
awesome.
March. That was
Yeah.
fun. Diving with all you guys was what made it even more fun for me. Just going out with friends and diving
And
awesome places.
it's crazy how it worked out because you taught like all of us.
Yeah. And then
And
just
now we-
kind of
we
glommed
kinda
onto
just-
the trip.
we
Hey
kinda
guys,
just,
I'm gonna
like-
come along. Can I go too?
Well, it worked out. I mean, we all get along, and we're all just
Yeah.
like, hey, let's just dive together.
And so, not to be cheesy and everything, but I consider you guys like my extended family over here, my dive family. You're not my students
some
just anymore,
students.
not my customers anymore. You guys are, we get together and do stuff outside of diving
Yeah,
too, which
yeah.
is cool. So you meet lifelong people. In fact, going down for that class this weekend in Virginia, I'm gonna go and have dinner with Lauren, who was the wife of the guy that was afraid of water.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to see her. So we haven't seen each other in probably 6 years, but we still keep in touch. And
And he obviously still dives. Would be my
yeah,
guess.
they're a little landlocked now, so
Okay.
I don't think either of them do active diving. But they always could. Again, they were
Yeah.
both. Lauren was an assistant instructor, and James got up to instructor. So
Oh, wow. That's good.
yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so what's the difference between a regular instructor and a course director?
So instructor can teach, at least for PADI. So I'm going to go for what I know for PADI. So when you become a PADI open water scuba instructor, you can teach open water, advanced, rescue, dive master, peak performance, buoyancy, coral reef awareness, and the aware classes.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's still a lot.
And then
Wow.
you can also take additional specialties to be able to teach that. For a course director, and anybody can go once they reach the prerequisites, anybody can go and become an instructor, and you go through the IDC course, and if you pass that, then you can take an IE, an instructor exam, which is given by PADI headquarters,
Okay.
and then you become an instructor that way. For course director, you have to be invited by PADI, and it's about the top 1% of all PADI divers, or all divers.
Including those who are not on the professional level, or just
No,
professional?
just all.
All. Okay.
So it's a
Wow.
there's about 500 roughly, don't quote me, internet. There's about 500 active course directors at any given time
That's not a lot if you think about
worldwide.
it globally. That's
So
not a
when
lot.
I got invited, there was 46 people in my class, and I was in the fall. 46 people from all over the world. And then there was a spring class. Now they've actually gone to 3 classes because the Russian and the Chinese market have exploded. Middle Eastern market, so they need more instructors as well for those areas. So they've opened it up to a 3rd one. But yeah, they're not asking everybody. You can't just
Right.
show up and become a course director. And
Do
that goes
they-
by. Oh, go ahead.
Do they look at where you're located too?
Yeah.
I remember you say like.
So it
if
goes
they need
by
one.
where you're located, what your need is, what you're doing in the dive industry. So it can be like you're also sort of an ambassador for diving
Yeah.
at that point. You're
feel like
supposed
you
to
would have
set
to
the
be
example.
Kind of at that point.
Yeah, you're supposed to set the example. You're supposed to do things the correct way, not cut
Well,
corners
you do.
and
So.
stuff. So a lot goes into it. You still have to keep up with your training, and there's updates and things like that. So
you
you
have to
can't
do
just sit
continuing
back.
ed?
Yeah, you
Okay.
just can't sit back on your laurels. You have to update at least every couple of years if there's any major changes to the PADI programs. You have to be up on that, and then if they have one where you have to come back to the mothership, then you may actually have to go back and do some in-person training.
So what's the benefit? Like
Um,
if me in being a course director versus like just like an instructor.
So it really depends on the person. If you want to teach the instructors, then you have to be a course director.
Okay.
So to run an IDC, you can be either an IDC staff instructor, a master instructor, and those two can help and assist a course director to
Okay.
teach the course.
Okay.
But to sign off on the full course, you have to be a course director. And they get the final
That's
bless
gotta
off
be
on
intense.
everything.
That
Yeah.
whole
So it's a lot of responsibility.
Wasn't what was his name in Roatan? The guy at the shop there.
Was it Neil, you think?
No, he went on the Odyssey with us. The guide. He was probably my age.
Was Ryan or Neil worked at the shop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he going for course director?
He was trying to. So he was working on his prerequisites,
Okay.
putting
for it.
in his application, and then they would go over it and see if there was a need for him where he wanted to teach,
Okay.
and then also if he's got the background and the prerequisites required.
They really
for
look
it.
into you
Yeah.
for that. Yeah.
It's not
That's
cheap,
intense.
and it's not
I can imagine
not
not
easy
not being
to
cheap.
get.
Yeah. So you got to make sure you really want it.
Yes.
And then, you can get it. What qualities would make someone a great dive instructor?
Patience, number one.
I'd have to
Attention
work on
to
that.
detail. Patience is the big one because you're doing those same, like open water is the bulk of probably what you teach.
Yeah.
So it's going over those same basic skills all the time. Everybody makes the same type of mistakes. They blow out through their rag instead of their nose. So just being patient and, teaching them, being focused on what they need to do, and then the attention to detail to make sure they do it right and you don't cut corners and let them slide.
Yeah. Because I remember being on the other side of it, like being a student, and you didn't do my open water. Mike did. Clearing my mask, which I still need to work on. I still need to work on a full clearing of it. I don't like it. I used to get water up the nose all the time, and I couldn't coordinate to like breathe out
Keep that
when I took
chin
my
tucked.
mask off.
Keep that chin tucked. That'll stop the water from going up your nose
he didn't
as much.
tell me that, and I just it went right up every single time, and I hate that feeling. So
Or
that's something I need to work on. But
blow out when you blow out your nose all the time.
Yeah.
Get used to that, and that'll help keep it cleared.
Doing that and then breathing in with the reg was hard for me to coordinate. Well, I wear contacts too.
Yeah.
So I'm doing this all with my eyes closed, taking it off, and I'm trying to put it on, and or the
Use
opposite.
that neoprene strap for your hair. All those little tricks.
But being
of
on
the
the other
trade.
side of that, you feel bad because it's like if you do it like 8-9 times and you're still not getting it, you get frustrated. I get impatient with myself.
I feel bad sometimes because I know when people are taking classes, it's like, God, he's trying to sell me something else, like always. And I know the different things, like get a mask that fits properly, obviously, is the right one. But little things like that neoprene strap on the back so you can it slides right over instead of getting stuck and tangled in your long hair. I don't have to worry about that.
Right.
Just those little things like that. If you do a lot of shore diving, having that fin strap so you got your two hands free instead of having to carry
really
fins.
the little things
it's the small things
that make a big difference.
Make it seem, and I'll tell you why I do all that is because I've made those mistakes already, and I'd rather have you be comfortable from the get-go than, maybe tripping or falling on your face because you're trying to crawl down rocks. I can't.
Well, at the yacht club here, I fell. Did you see me fall? I don't know if you saw me fall.
I'll say no.
Caught the
Just to
aftermath of it. But I was like, help.
Like a turtle on your
I've
back.
fallen and I can't get up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I slipped with the going in from the ramp, and I wiped out. Just
get on the side, hold that side, shuffle along, don't pick up your feet so when you put it down it doesn't slip.
I was feeling confident.
All those little things.
Yeah.
Mother Nature she's a definite leveler out there. Yep.
Okay. If you can sum up what diving has given you in one sentence, what would it be? Think real hard.
Joy back in my life. Don't need to think hard.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Like I say, after the divorce, after a bad time, after losing the job recently, I can go diving. And like I said before, I can go in the worst mood, in a bad mood, feeling bummed out. And even a so-so dive, I come out feeling like $1 million.
What about Furman Boulevard?
I'll still do it. I love it. I just love being in the water, neutrally buoyant.
Yeah.
I don't care.
It's the suspension, like being neutrally buoyant, just suspended in the water.
And not like
feels like you're flying.
You can hear the water around you, but you don't hear your cell phone going off.
Yeah.
Your boss isn't bothering you. There's no cars beeping behind you to go
very
faster.
quiet.
It's just zen. It's the most zen feeling.
So any final thoughts or messages for people who are thinking about diving?
Do it. It will be the best decision you have made in your life.
It's true.
You will conquer your fear. You will prove to yourself that you can do anything you put your mind to, and you may just find something you love that you can do for the rest of your life. Because it doesn't matter how old you are. Once you're in, Doesn't matter how big you are, once you're in the water, you get that neutral buoyancy, you float, you're comfortable. It's a whole other world.
It's a pain when you have to get out, though. Gravity hits
Yeah.
you.
That was
That
one
equipment
thing.
is not light.
No. So, but you can do adaptive techniques for things like that. So people with amputations or injuries, a lot of this came about from the wars and the warriors coming back and that. But they have side mount diving now, where you can get in the water and you clip your heavy gear on before, and then you go up to the back of the boat, unclip it, and either clip it to a line and they'll haul it up, or you hand it up.
That sounds nice.
They have lifts for getting in and out of the water. They even have things for paraplegics and quadriplegics. It's a different training level and certification.
But that's got to be an experience for
But
them too.
you may
just
have to have
be able to do that still.
assist divers with you to dive.
Yeah.
But even quadriplegic people can enjoy diving. You'll have one person takes you along and controls your buoyancy, and the other person is moving your head back so they can breathe and clear their mask and things like that. So
that's awesome. I love that for them.
All kinds of stuff you can do to enjoy it. You don't have to dive deep, and you don't have to do wrecks, and you don't have to live in a tropical place. And here, Western New York, people don't realize there's chances to dive every week here throughout the summer.
There
like,
is.
Who thought?
There
Who
is.
thought they could do that?
There is. I really want to, once I get a dry suit and I'm certified in that, really want to start hitting these lakes.
Yeah.
Like all of them.
Yep. A lot of wrecks out there to go see.
Yeah. What's that one guy's name? Chris Roxenberg? I have a laptop sitting on me. Hang on. Let me look.
1 minute, folks. We'll be right with you. This must be so riveting for your audience at home.
Roxburgh? So he...
Okay.
Chris Roxburgh. That's how I'm going to say his last name. He does Great Lakes. He does tech diving too.
Yeah.
But he does all the Great Lakes. Look him up on Facebook or Instagram. Roxburgh. Roxburgh. He's got some really cool stuff. It would be cool to do some of those dives too. I mean, not tech, because we're not there yet.
Gotta go and do it. That's something. Don't ever forget to keep improving.
Yeah.
Keep learning new skills.
One day I'm going to do it.
Okay. I believe you.
Long way down. I'm not there yet. I feel like the underwater world is a really good teacher. Like it really helps you overcome a lot of things.
And see things from a totally different perspective.
Yeah.
You're not meant to breathe underwater.
No.
You're not meant to
You're
be
not
underwater.
made or equipped. That's why we need all the gear.
Being under there is phenomenal. It's like nothing else.
And it's something people don't not everyone has the chance to see it. But if you do have that ability, take advantage of it.
Take advantage of that.
Yeah. Thank you, Tim.
You're welcome. Thank you, Marissa.
Big thanks to Tim. Anyone who wants to be taught by Tim Goulah here, well, message me.
If you're not a diver already, we'll make you one.
Yeah. It'll be fun. All right. Bye.
Bye. All right.
Oh, you know what I wanted to do?
Oh, what?
I wanted to say this part together. Isn't that cute?
Sure.
So I'll
Let's
say
see.
thanks for watching, and as always,
Okay. Dive safe.
that together. Like,
Oh, we're going to say
Together.
all of it together?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
is that corny?
Yeah, but that's okay.
All right, I won't do it.
You can do it if you want.
It can be my thing for when I interview people.
Okay.
Like, everyone has to say it with me.
Okay. All right.
My husband didn't like it either. Is it a really bad idea?
I'm trying to figure out how to say I'm forced to say this next bit. Okay, go. I'm being forced to say this next bit. Okay, go.
Now I don't want to say it.
It worked.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
And as always,
Dive
dive
safe,
safe,
dive smart,
and
and dive mindfully. For a second, I thought it said mentally.
We're done.
Might need a new prescription.
Cut!
Right, that'll
Boy,
be,
this party
that'll
really
be-
died.
Oh, big gulps, huh?
Well, see you later.
See you later.
This is it. This is going to kill us.
Don't you go dying on me now. Here,
Your hands are freeze. You had an extra pair of gloves this whole time?
Here, take mine. My hands are sweating anyway. So good. Such a great movie.
Tim wants to interview me, but I gave him questions. What was it? 2 months ago?
Mm-hmm.
He just gave me his questions this past week.
You're not supposed to prepare.
I want to kind of
Supposed
prepare.
to be. Well, you're supposed to have an idea, but not like just talk from your heart. It's more meaningful
I'm going to,
than
but
being your robotic self. I love diving. Diving is so cool. More diving, more diving. Where's Adam? He could help us with this one.